Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. We're going to follow up on Rooster Teeth because we've been talking about Rooster Teeth kind of in the wake of the all the AT&T drama going on. Rooster Teeth, how they figure into whatever's going on at Warner with their animation divisions. There's a lot going on right now. A lot of talk of them consolidating and streamlining all of these companies down to one or two divisions possibly. And we talked about the reshuffling in the past. We talked about, some, Rooster Teeth employees who came to us and told us that things were much worse at Rooster Teeth than they were letting on. Again, this is not news that I'm happy about. I don't want anybody to be out of work. I don't want, especially now, especially before the holidays. Unfortunately, we did a story the other day on the animation studio that handled the redesign for Sonic the Hedgehog for the live action movie shut their doors days before Christmas, which really sucks, But there's a little bit of a bright spot here with Rooster Teeth, but also it's a double-edged sword because there's two headlines I'm going to talk about in this video. The first is that Rooster Teeth does have a replacement, I believe, for Gray Haddock, who got gone. He got gone earlier in the year, and there's been a lot of stuff with Rooster Teeth up in the air because of all the corporate reshuffling. And they also made the headlines for having a data breach. So, it's like, here's the thing with Rooster Teeth, right? It seems like every time they have a good headline, something bad comes along to bury it in the news feeds. It's so weird. I mean, they were doing okay for a while, and then they had the thing come out with one of their VPs beating his wife, and it's like, God, this is not what they need. So it's been a very mixed bag for Rooster Teeth this year. It has not been a wonderful year for them, I don't think. And it does seem that there's a bit of a jinx going on, maybe a bit of a curse. People keep joking about it, but I tell you, there's definitely something up. But I just think it's any company working underneath Warner Media at this point. I mean, everybody's job's up in the air. Nobody is safe. And Warner Media doubled down. We did a story the other day talking about how Warner CEO, was it Mr. Stanky said that no one's safe, that they've just begun to trim jobs, to cut back on jobs. Nobody working for any division of Warner Media at this point is safe, especially a lot of the folks in animation. Christina Miller, Cartoon Network. She's the head of Cartoon Network. Now, I know she's controversial. I know a lot of people don't like her. They don't like her decisions. But, I basically thought she would be untouchable because, as I understand it, everything could potentially be consolidated under the Cartoon Network brand, and she's gone. They said that she stepped down, which she might have. They might have offered her a package to get her out of the way, but Warner Media clearly has some plans for its animation divisions, and Rooster Teeth is definitely not immune to this. But for now, they promoted some people from within, which I think is good. This is different than how they did before, where they were bringing people in from the outside. That's never a good sign. So this came from Animation Magazine a couple of days ago. Rooster Teeth promotes VP, head of production, animation, co-heads. Exclusive. Rooster Teeth Warner Media Company announced Thursday that Doreen Copeland has been promoted to VP head of production, and Joe Clary and Sean Hines, or Hins, I'm actually not sure how you pronounce his last name, have been promoted to co-heads of animation. Copeland will now oversee all physical production at Rooster Teeth. Clary and Hines will co-lead day-to-day operations across all of Rooster Teeth's animated productions, including RWBY, Genlock, RTAA, Death Battle, and Red vs. Blue. Are they still doing Red vs. Blue? God, that's old. I don't even know if they're still doing it. I haven't checked. To be honest, I haven't even thought about Red vs. Blue in probably 5 or 6 years. Clary and Hines will report to Copeland. Margaret M. Dean, head of Elation Studios and president of Women in Animation, will continue to consult on production. So Margaret Dean's still involved, and this is kind of important. People are like, who the hell is Margaret Dean? She is the head of Women in Animation. She is the head of Elation. She was responsible for greenlighting, I believe, High Guardian Spice over at Crunchyroll. And, the fact that she was involved with Rooster Teeth just shows that Crunchyroll and Rooster Teeth could potentially be working together more closely. And I'm still convinced. I think this might be a temporary arrangement, because everything we're hearing is that the long-term plan for Warner Media is to get all these animation studios that they acquired to put them all under pretty much one umbrella and just have one animation studio, probably under the Cartoon Network brand, or have Cartoon Network Studios, which handles, all the TV stuff for Cartoon Network and basically churns out content for HBO Max. And then, the other division, which is, classic Warner Brothers animation studio, theatrical films, direct-to-DVD, that sort of thing. That's where all your Batman movies and your Scooby-Doo movies, and, if they ever decide to do anything decent with Looney Tunes, that's where that's going to go. So previous to receiving the promotion to VP, Doreen Copeland served as VP, head of production operations at Rooster Teeth. She has a 25-year career, so at least they're promoting from within. Joe Clary served as lead producer for RWBY Volume 6 and 7. At least they're promoting from within. That's a good thing. I always like to see that at companies, unless all their people are completely incompetent. It's like, why pay your dues if you're never going to be rewarded? So they're talking about all the brand deals they have with Scholastic and Warner Brothers and yada, yada, yada. These appointments continue the production and creative leadership restructuring initiated in June when Gray Haddock stepped down as the head of the studio, followed by further shuffling of key roles among Rooster Teeth's co-founders and executives in September. And this was a major thing. Because it sounded like they were sort of, Warner was kind of taking more control of Rooster Teeth. And I still think that's what's happening. Maybe they're just promoting from within to finish up the projects they're working on. I don't know. But it does seem like they had more focus, at least from my point of view, more focus on doing live action stuff that's basically cheaper than animation. Now, we know Genlock is getting a season 2, but it's only getting a season 2 because HBO is picking up the tab. And that's going to be the case, next year, especially. Once HBO Max launches, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how all these companies, Rooster Teeth and Crunchyroll and Cartoon Network, how they change, because it's very possible that Warner's long-term plan for these studios is basically just create content for HBO Max that they'll eventually dump onto Cartoon Network and then, just kind of work its way down the line. But HBO Max will be where all the stuff goes first. We already know this. Rooster Teeth first subscribers are very upset that they're not getting Genlock first. That's going to HBO Max and then going to Rooster Teeth first, which doesn't make it first anymore, but whatever. So for now it looks like maybe things are stabilizing over there, but just when you think it's safe, here we have another bad headline. God, seriously. So Rooster Teeth had a data breach that allowed attackers to steal credit card and other payment information from shoppers on the company's online store. The production company, they talk about what they do, Red vs. Blue, Genlock, RWBY, yada yada. According to a data breach notification, Rooster Teeth discovered on December 2nd that their online store was hacked earlier that day. As part of the hack, a malicious script was injected into the store that would cause shoppers to be redirected to a fake payment page under the control of the attackers. Yeah, we get these all the time. They're like, now, not from the website itself, but we get, hey, your PayPal account's been stolen. Click here to, give us your password and log in and make sure your bank account's up to date too, so we can clean that out too. So this is what they said. This is what they sent out to people on December 2nd. Rooster Teeth discovered that malicious code had been added to the site earlier that same day. The malicious code directed users entering a checkout on the site to a spoofed web page where they were asked to enter payment card details in order to complete their purchases. This was inserted after the stage at which users enter their shipping data. Users who completed the payment card details were then directed to the real web page where they were asked to complete the forms again. So basically, you're going to check out and you're not paying through the legit payment portal. They're sending you to where the hell it's going. So this allowed the attackers to steal customers' name, email addresses, telephone numbers, physical addresses, etc. The malicious code was removed from their store on the same day, so it was only up for a little bit. Rooster Teeth has sent data breach notifications to customers who were affected by the breach and are offering a free 1-year Experian Identity Works subscription. I think that's what Target did too when this happened. I mean, look, it's going to happen. Chances are, if you have a credit card of any kind, if you have a debit card of any kind, it's already being sold, on the black market, on the dark web. The dark webs. For those who were affected, Bleeping Computer strongly suggests you contact your credit card merchant and explain the situation. So they said this was not, they used MageCart. This was not a common MageCart attack. So most online store credit card stealing attacks that we have seen recently are called MageCart attacks and involve compromising an online store to inject malicious script. These scripts will then quietly monitor for submitted card information and then send it to a remote drop site under the attacker's control so it can be collected. So they said that Rooster Teeth was affected by an attack similar to ones that were recently disclosed in the researchers' Fool's House, a digital crime group report. So here they have an example of like you're going to a bank page and you think it's a legit bank page and it's not. It's not. So if you were buying Rooster Teeth merchandise on December 2nd, check and make sure your identity has not been stolen, because Rooster Teeth needed this headline in addition to their former VP beating his wife. They needed this to happen within a few weeks of each other. But yeah, we're going to keep an eye on Rooster Teeth because, again, this isn't, I just want to be very clear. I'm not wishing for bad things to happen to anybody working in the animation industry right now. I know some people have some negative feelings about Rooster Teeth because of the Vic Mignogna situation. But animation jobs are getting increasingly hard to come by in North America because they keep outsourcing everything to India and the Philippines, where the labor is much, much cheaper. Unfortunately, the labor is so cheap in some of those countries that the people working there can't even afford to live on what they're being paid. But I digress. I just think that there's going to be a major upheaval at Warner Media in regards to all of these animation studios. And a year from now, we're going to be looking at a very, very different situation. So my advice to anybody working for Rooster Teeth or Crunchyroll or Warner Brothers in any capacity, Cartoon Network, keep your resume updated. Please, and that's not me being smarmy. Please keep your resume updated because more cuts are coming. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later. Thinking about printing your own comic books, graphic novel, or manga? We recommend our friends over at PrintNinja. We've been using PrintNinja as long as they've been printing comics, and both the quality and price is excellent. Mention Clownfish TV and get an additional 5% overrun of your book order quantity printed for free. For free! That's free books, people. Just mention this offer on the phone or in the additional information box on the quote request form. That's printninja.com or click on the link in the description below. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.